In today's video, we're going to be doing a cost of living analysis between where we live in San Luis Potosí and the city of Querétaro, located just a few hours away. We'll start with Querétaro first. Querétaro in the metropolitan area has a population of about 1.6 million people. It has experienced significant growth in the last few years and is driven by investment in aerospace, automotive, and information technology, and has kind of become a hub of information technology in this region of Mexico. It is focused on high-skilled jobs. It's also focused on controlled development, although there is a lot of it, and it has still some traditional industry, but basically it's focused on technology. Now, San Luis has a population of 1.3 million people in the metropolitan area. It also exhibits a dynamic growth pattern driven primarily by the automotive industry and the automotive parts industry. It's centrally located along the corridor for shipping. It has sustained growth policies that attract foreign and domestic investment. There are a lot of companies here like BMW and a lot of other automotive companies that are focused on the outskirts of San Luis. It has a strategic location and it is along the major economic corridor. Now I'm going to use Numbeo as my cost comparison analysis tool. I used it a lot in 2019 when Paulette and I were comparing cities to live in Mexico. Starting at the top, we'll see that San Luis Potosí is about 4.4% lower in terms of cost of living, excluding rent. The cost of living, including rent, in San Luis is 13% lower than in Querétaro. Rent prices being about 41.6% lower than in Querétaro, which kind of surprised me. Restaurant prices in San Luis are about 3.5% higher than in Querétaro. Groceries in San Luis are about 7.3% lower than in Querétaro, and local purchasing power in San Luis is 5.6% lower than in Querétaro. Restaurants. Meal at an inexpensive restaurant is actually a little bit higher in San Luis. A meal for two at a mid-range restaurant is a little bit lower in San Luis, and a meal at McDonald's actually a little bit higher in San Luis, but really if you're coming to Mexico, why are you eating at a McDonald's? And then we have some other things, beer, if that's of any interest. A little higher in San Luis. Coffee, which is of interest to me, cappuccino is a little bit lower in San Luis. And of course the drink of champions here in Mexico, Coke or Pepsi, is a little bit lower in San Luis as well. Now we'll take a look at things that you can buy in a market. This is all food, I believe, that you can buy from grocery stores. Paulette and I actually buy a lot of our food from mercados. The first several things on the list are actually cheaper in San Luis than they are in Querétaro, until you get down to the bananas. And things become a little more expensive there. Tomatoes and stuff are actually quite a bit more expensive, as well as onions in San Luis. But again, like I say, Paulette and I buy a lot of our stuff at the Mercado, and so it's not really that expensive. Next up, transportation. A combi ride will run you about 11 pesos to 12 pesos, both in Querétaro and San Luis. The monthly pass thing doesn't really exist because you buy a card and then you put money on that card, and every time you ride the bus you scan the card and then it subtracts the bus fare from the card. Taxis will be less expensive in San Luis. Gas is right around 24 pesos per liter, which equals out to about $4.88 a gallon US. Next up, utilities. Electricity is going to be a little bit less expensive in San Luis than it is in Querétaro. A mobile phone plan is going to be a little bit more expensive in San Luis than in Querétaro, and internet is going to be a little bit more expensive too. Now, our personal experience with the electricity is that we pay on average about 1,100 pesos every 2 months for electricity. Our phone plan is about 3,100 pesos a year, which is about $12.50. And our internet is about 1,300 pesos a month, and that's for Starlink. Next up, sports and leisure. As you can see, it's going to be less expensive in San Luis Potosí. Childcare, including schooling, is going to be quite a bit less expensive in San Luis Potosí. The cost of clothing is just about even between San Luis and Querétaro. Moving on to rent. Rent is going to be quite a bit less expensive in San Luis than it is Querétaro, by probably 40 to 45% less expensive. Buying a home or apartment is going to be a lot cheaper in San Luis at 33,401 pesos per square meter. So that's 1 square meter equals about 10.7 square feet. San Luis Potosí is going to be about 1/4 of that, and again, these for apartments that are in the city centers. The cost of buying a home and apartment outside of the city center is going to be cheaper, but San Luis is still quite a bit cheaper than Querétaro. Now, Paulette and I have been to Querétaro about probably 4 or 5 times, and we will say that really it's expanding in every possible direction. There's a lot of new development there. There's a lot of newer high-rises going in, but there's also the traffic congestion to match that. Where San Luis, there are a lot of newer housing developments going in. They aren't really building as many modern high-rises like they are in Querétaro, but I will tell you that the traffic is much easier to navigate in San Luis if you're driving, or even if you're taking public transportation. We live on the outskirts of San Luis. It takes us 15 to 20 minutes driving to get downtown into Centro. Querétaro on the outskirts, you're probably looking 45 minutes to get into the central area. Now, having said that, both central areas are beautiful in their own way, although our preference, of course, is San Luis, but they both have their beauty. We'll be making other cost comparison videos of cities in the central highlands of Mexico, unless, of course, this one bombs, and then like a cheap hooker, we'll move on to another subject. If you didn't turn out after that last joke, we'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.